Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today is a terrific Tuesday. I don't know about you all, but I am certainly excited for this week. We got a lot of stuff going on. We got Dan, Dalton, Ebba, Adreen, Champ, Andy, Big Play J, Dante, MC, Rob, Kishore, Lee. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. CeeLo, Isaac. Good morning. How we all doing today? Fantastic, fantastic. We got some people that are excited this morning to chop it up. I know Dante's excited. He's got something to share with everybody today. I'm excited for him. Today is Tuesday, March 12th. We are almost 4 months into the year of 2024, ladies and gentlemen. Can you believe how quickly time flies? I want to know, is anybody in here averaging at least 1 month, one deal per month? Who in here is averaging at least one deal per month? Mr. Pena, good morning.
I'm trying to get my first deal. Uh, Simply just trying to get my first deal.
Well, I think you're in the right place, sir. How can I help you? What questions do you have?
Man, let me see. Damn, should we just walk through? Have you done this before where you walk through kind of the journey of going through your first deal and what it would? Because I feel like there's a lot of people in here, they're still trying to get their first deal, right? And
Sure.
so I just posted something like in the daily games, and um, part of it is obviously like a win. But another part of it is going to go out to the people that are they probably been doing this for about 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, 12 months, maybe a year, over a year, right? And they still haven't gotten a deal yet. Still no deal. And I feel like that's common, right? um, so I think we should do the show kind of based off of those people because it's very, very, very easy to get discouraged in this game, especially if you're not getting the results that you want, right?
Sure.
So, for me, um, I remember when I had a 9 to 5, I was working for AT&T, and you know, a buddy of mine that worked with me at AT&T, he got his real estate license. He became a realtor, was doing okay, doing the realtor thing. He helped me buy my first house, right? So, then I went to go get my license, and took the classes, passed the test, waited to get licensed, and then, imagine expecting to get something and then it being ripped from you, right? Like I had some, I had gotten into some trouble when I was younger, and that trouble bit me in the ass when I came to get my real estate license, and so Texas Real Estate Commission, they didn't want to license me, right?
Mm.
And I could have fought it and took them to court and got exactly what I needed to. But then by the time that happened, my buddy was like, "Dude, you don't even need to be a realtor to be in real estate. You can just wholesale." I was like, "What is wholesaling?" Right? So started reading up on wholesaling. I got this book called The Wholesale Real Estate Bible. Have you ever heard of it?
Who's it by?
Than Merrill.
I don't think I have. I
So
don't think I've read that one.
Than Merrill is yeah. So, okay, so we have some people. So Than Merrill, he used to be a football player who then became a real estate investor, and now he's got a huge guru education organization called Fortune Builders. You may have heard of it, right?
Definitely heard of that. Yep.
Yeah. So that's his. So um, that's actually that. Believe it or not, that book is actually what got me my marketing ideas because I didn't know anything about anything about wholesaling. Right. All I got is a buddy. You know, I couldn't get my license. They denied me my license. I'm thinking I'm going to quit my 9 to 5. I'm about to make it into real estate, and next thing you know, my dreams are shattered because they don't want to give me my license. So, um, so I read that book and I watched Sean Terry. Okay, I don't know if you guys know Sean Terry, Flip
Sean
to
Terry's the
Freedom.
GOAT. Yep. He's been on the
Yeah,
podcast.
Sean
Amazing
Terry.
guy.
Sean Terry is the godfather of wholesaling. I like to call him. And so I watched some Sean Terry videos. I read the Dan Merrill book, and the idea that I got from the Dan Merrill book was to case foreclosure list. Well, you know, my background is I used to do loan modifications for people who were distressed back in the last crash, which some of y'all are not even old enough for this. Yeah, that's the book right there. Good job, Camp. Yeah. So that right there. So here's the cool thing about this book, guys, before I get on this tangent on the story. This book, it tells you something that really stuck with me, and I kind of still use it till this day. No matter how old the marketing strategies are, in real estate, they do work still. So don't let nobody tell you cold calling doesn't work. Don't let nobody tell you bandit signs. You know, you see these guru pages and they're like bandit signs are not the way, right? That's bullshit. It all works. It all works, right? It's just a matter of not if, it's when. So keep that in mind when you guys are doing this. In the book, it even tells you that like these strategies will always work. It's been, I mean, people have been using them since probably the 70s or the 80s. That's how long wholesaling's been around. So, anyways, so I read the book. I get a foreclosure list. I skip trace it, and I didn't. I said, funny thing, I didn't know anything about skip tracing until I worked. I had a job working for a bill collection agency, and in the bill collection agency, if you couldn't get a hold of the person that you were trying to get a hold of, you would skip trace them in the bill collection agency, right? So because of that, that's how I was introduced to skip tracing, not because it was being taught to me on YouTube. So I used the skills that I learned from the bill collecting agency. What's popping, Dan?
Good morning.
And so I used the skills that I learned from the bill collection agency to skip trace, and then used a page called White Pages. You guys might have heard of it. Skip trace the list by hand. Okay. What I mean by that is I went to White Pages, copy and paste the number, put it on a spreadsheet, rinse and repeat with about 100 properties. Took me about a week to do. Oh yeah, Mr. Matt Riley knows what I'm talking about. White Pages, exactly. So yeah. So then after I skip trace that and put it on my Excel spreadsheet, I started dialing, and you know, I didn't have a CRM. So I'm like, okay, how do I know if I got a hold of them? How do I know if it was the wrong number? So I started color coding my cells in the spreadsheet. So it was like, all right, the green highlight means that this number is the right number. The red highlight means it's bad number. Orange means they haven't answered. So at least I know who's who. And so I did this for about 3 weeks. And 3 weeks into it, you know, I had quit my job. I just bought a brand new house. I had a baby on the way. I kind of started doubting myself. You know, I wasn't getting the results, and I actually started considering getting a job again. I was like, man, maybe I should just go back to work. Maybe I should, you know, and But no, I just kept dialing, kept dialing, kept dialing. Finally, somebody called me back from that spreadsheet. Okay. And I was able to type the number in. So there's a way on Excel where I think it's like F9 or something. You type in the phone number and it tells you where the cell's at. So it ties it to the, like I had my own little CRM. I thought it was like so smart. I thought it was so smart when I came over. Right? But um, I got the person who called me back was a relative of the person who was behind on the mortgage. And so, had I not got a hold of that relative, they would have reached out to the borrower and then um, called me back, let me walk the property with my buddy who was the realtor that told me I can just wholesale. And he helped me lock up the first contract. Matter of fact, he did the contract for me. We walked the property. Me and him are like super charismatic people. Like, so here's the thing, you guys close me, you guys hear me on the phone, it's one thing. You get me in person, it's game fucking over. I don't care what you guys have to say. You get me in person, it's game over. Okay. You got me in person with my boy, who's also a closer. And we're tag teaming the sellers. The sellers were having fun with us. They wanted to invite us to the barbecue, et cetera, et cetera. Locked it up for 175. Okay. So then from there, we went to a meetup. And at the meetup, I met somebody who worked for New Western. Okay. I know a lot of us don't really like New Western, but I will say if you find the right person at New Western, they're the best people to sell to. I wouldn't buy from them though. Okay. So he locked it up. Matter of fact, I think I hit him with the 10. I hit him with 210 and he came back with 205. And I was like, I need to talk to my partner about it and confirm. You know, I was kind of dumbfounded about the fact that, like, did I just make 30K? But I had to check with my friend to make sure that that was the case. Right. And so I called my friend up and I go, hey, so I told him 210. He wants 205. Should we take it? He was like, fuck yeah, we should take it. What the fuck are you talking about? So I was like, all right, let's do it. So we run it, 30K assignment, you know,
How
and
much did
then
New
kind of
Western make?
like five. I got the HUD statement. Hold on. I think I dropped my HUD in here one time to show people that you don't need an LLC. You could just use your name. Um, boy, John Blanco is in the back of a pickup in Mexico. I was just in Rosarito this weekend. That's what's up.
How was that?
Rosarito,
Yeah.
amazing. I have a friend of mine who owns a beach house that she Airbnbs out there.
Mm-hmm.
And while I was kicking it out there on her Airbnb, the neighbor came out. We start chopping it up. The neighbor happens to be from Oceanside. 70, he's like 76-year-old dude, and they're looking to sell their house and move back up to
Wow.
Oceanside. And it's a fucking mini mansion on the beach in Rosarito, bro. Like Rosarito. John, next time you come out, bro, we're gonna have to do Mexico next time. I'm getting used to it. I know where like the areas and stuff. We could just come out for like a weekend. It's like normal to do. Anyways, yeah, it's like a 7-bedroom house. It's like 7 bedrooms, 6 baths, 3 stories. Insane.
That does sound like a
Insane.
mini mansion.
I know. He wants 800,000 for it. House on the beach for 800,000. My question, guys, in the comments, would you say a house on the beach in Mexico worth it for 800K? Yes or no?
So what happened after you cashed out that 30 bands on your first deal?
Okay, so you know what? I'm gonna be completely transparent with y'all. I blew it all in 1 month.
Wow. What'd you
Jesus
spend it on?
Christ.
Traveling traveling back and forth to San Diego to see the family. Gym membership for 2 years I didn't even use. Like just stupid shit. Yeah, like Ebba said, hookers and cocaine. No, I'm kidding. This is she. But no, I was, you know what? I was married at the time with my kids. I was, just doing trips with like my wife and my kid at the time, and just kind of like enjoying life. And then the money started drying up, and I'm like, shit, guess I should go get more deals. So it took me about another 2 months to get another deal. But the way that my system was set up, the guy from New Western hated the fact that he saw me make 30K and he made a measly little commission off of what New Western made, that he quit. And then we started partnering up, and he was my guy to find my buyers. He was my dispo dude. So um after that it was 15K, 12K, 27K, like back to back. And then me and him had a falling out, and there goes my dispo guy. So I had to start all over again, because this guy, he didn't want me to know everything. He wanted me to just find the deals and then let him do the rest. I didn't know how to do contracts. Um, yeah, 1 month is crazy. You know what, guys? You'd be surprised on how easy it is. John Johnson can probably relate to this, John. Don't lie.
I knew this was coming, man. Why are you guys putting me
I
on
know
the
you
spot?
can. I know. So, all right. So, John Johnson, tell these
Yeah.
people, when you've never made this type of money in your life,
Yeah.
it's very, very, very easy to blow it.
I'll tell you why, okay? I'll tell you why. When you never had money, right, and you've been working, or you've been like just doing a lot to get a little bit of money. Like flipping is one of those things, just retail arbitrage, buying stuff, selling stuff, is one of those things that takes up a lot of time, energy, but you don't get a big return on your time or energy. And so when you make a few phone calls, you don't really have to go anywhere, and you cash out a lot of money. You're like, oh well, now I figured it out. I'm gonna get to the next one super quick, and it's just gonna go up from here, and it's a perfect scenario. But the reality hits
Yeah.
you, and you wanna start spending money. But I'll tell you another thing too is when you get a hold of some money and you never really had any money before, you'll find that there are so many new expenses. Now there's people need
Yep.
money. There you got to go somewhere. You'd be surprised just how quickly you can spend your money. But if there is one thing that I will always encourage myself and anybody in here to spend more money on, it's going to be marketing, because that's
Yeah.
going to actually
Business.
fuel you and help you get to your next deal much faster if you actually spend more of that money on getting closer to that next deal. So don't be greedy on
100%.
what you spend on your marketing. And that means data, that means ads, um, whatever you got to do to get to that next deal. Spend that money.
Right. Well, so yeah, and he's right. Like, you'd be surprised on, actually, like, in the comments, like, the family sees that you're making money, all of a sudden, hey, can I borrow this? I'll pay you back. Or, hey, I need this. So it's very easy to blow through it. And the one thing that I would say that I did learn is I should have put it back into the business. Luckily for me, we closed a couple more deals. I learned a little bit of the hard way, but we went from there, and obviously gradually from there, and we went to fix and flips. I think my first fix and flip was actually a sub 2 fix and flip that I never actually closed on it, so it wasn't really a sub 2. I guess it was more like a novation, but without the novation paperwork. So um but the main point of the story, guys, is at one point when I was trying to get my first deal, is I was struggling to get it. And I almost could, mind you, I quit my job. I had just bought a house and I had a baby on the way,
Yeah.
right? Probably not the ideal situation to like go all in on wholesaling. Okay. But I had this burning desire to make some shit happen, and an even more desire to not have to work for anybody anymore, to figure it out. And that's what I did. Um, I've
Dante, really
on
quick, because I feel really compelled to talk about this. You said that
okay,
you had a baby on the way.
yeah,
You didn't have you probably I don't know if you had any income coming in because you weren't
no.
working a job. You quit your job, so you probably didn't have any income. You may have been running up on the cards. Were you running up on the cards, Dante?
So okay, I had about 30-40K in my 401k that I cashed out.
Okay, well you at least had some savings, so you weren't like
I
completely
did have
out.
I did I did have that little cushion right there, but it was burning up pretty quick.
It
And that's when I was like,
does.
man, maybe I should just get a job, and like, but so I'm also a huge fan. I'm a huge believer of divine intervention. Okay, so I'm not going to sit here
Yes,
and push any type of religious on you guys or spirituality, but
it's
I
true,
do believe
bro.
in God. I do believe in God. I'm a God fearing man, and so I truly believe in divine intervention, where God said, "All right, let me show you this is real." Okay, and because for me to do 3 weeks on my first deal, it's wild because you get these people I'm watching even in my community, 4 months, 6 months, for them to close their first deal. And it took me 3 weeks, making me look like, I just came out as a rookie of the year. Right. And so it also kind of handicapped me, making me think that this industry was a lot easier than it really is.
Yep.
So
I do.
now
I
I
just want
will
to touch on
say,
that really quick. You said that you didn't have the ideal situation, but one thing that I want to share with everybody, and I hope that people are really listening to this, is there really is no perfect ideal situation to go all in on being an entrepreneur. You're
yeah,
going to fuck up. It's going to be difficult, and you're going to have to take risks. And people don't really talk about that. I don't think people really talk about the reality of when you really don't have a job, you don't have any other income, but you still got to make shit happen, and you start running it up. I started running it up on my credit cards, and I had to
yeah,
make it happen. And that's the bottom line. When you're broke and you have access to credit, you have access to $5,000-$10,000 worth of credit. There might be a controversy behind this, but like you're broke anyway. So what's the alternative? If you now go in debt, you ruin your credit score. You could ruin your credit score, but if you actually apply yourself and you learn things that we teach you in the community, you probably don't necessarily need a credit score to be able to purchase a house. You can probably get something structured through creative finance. There are tons of opportunities. I wouldn't let that alone scare you. But for me personally, there were times where I was straight underwater, didn't really have the money to make the payments. I had to make the minimum payments on my credit cards to really like make something of myself. But that's the risk you really have to be able to take, and you also have to be able to handle that
exactly.
stress if you really want
Yep.
this. And
Listen,
I know Dan
y'all
might have
ready?
something to say about this.
Y'all ready to hear something? Y'all ready to
I'm
hear
ready to
something
hear
else,
it.
y'all?
I'm ready to hear it,
Ready
Dan.
to hear some?
Let them know, Dan.
You can hire someone to fix your credit, but you can't hire someone to fix your life.
Oof.
Damn.
I was
Mic
not
drop.
expecting that. I was not expecting that.
Mic drop.
And it's so true. There's so many people out here. Just what we tell you guys alone in terms of how to go and spend that money, where to actually spend it in terms of don't spend it on, stupid shit. Actually spend it on marketing that's going to actually propel your business forward. If you just go out there, Dan is showing you literally step by step every single day the activities, not just theory, not just talking about, well, what is wholesaling? He's showing you what he's doing on a daily basis, the success habits you need to implement in your business to actually get deals under contract and close for free. If you just go and do the same thing, you can be successful. And here's the bottom line. If
Can
you
I add?
spend this money, I'd love to hear it. If you spend this money on marketing and generate leads, guys, that's something that no one can take away from you. If you just follow up with those leads, follow up with those leads, follow up with those leads, that's where the money's at. But if you don't get more leads, you're not going to get closer to that deal.
Can I add to what John's saying also about what Dan's doing? Um, what you're seeing, Dan. Dan, let me ask you something. Have you closed anything yet on 90 days or not yet?
We locked up a deal. We haven't closed anything yet,
Okay.
but we've locked up a
So
deal.
can we
10 days.
really show some appreciation to what Dan's um real point of what he's doing is not necessarily the results, but the motherfucking discipline that this man has to come on every single day for you guys to watch him to close deals. And that's the type of discipline you guys need to be having in your business. Now, if you're wondering why you're not getting results and you're coming in and putting in only half-ass work or part-time work, this is what I was told by one of my mentors: part-time work equals part-time results. Okay, so if you're not getting the results you need, and I know a lot of people, they got regular jobs, they got to pay bills. I get it. Trust me, I get it. When I was at AT&T, I was thinking the same thing. I remember being on the phone with a seller, and my manager was like, "Hey, we got a customer coming in." So I told the seller that I had to go into a meeting, so I didn't tell him I was at my 9 to 5. Right? I don't want to be like, "Hey, I'm at AT&T slinging phones. Let me go get this customer, and I'll call you back." I was like, "Hey, I got to go into a meeting. I'll call you back." He never picked up after that, and when he didn't pick up after that, I had this epiphany that, like, damn, I can't do this part time. I have to do this full time. I have to.
Mm.
And that was my epiphany there. So for all of y'all doing it part time, I don't want to discourage y'all to, to just stop doing this completely, but just understand it's definitely going to take a lot more work on your part to make this shit happen. Now, what I like is what Jake just said. Jake has a 9 to 5. Now, imagine if Jake was full time doing this. You think he would have more deals on the table?
Well, I think, it's definitely not impossible to do this part time, but the people
Right.
that do it part time have got to be consistent. You can't do this like full time sometimes. Like if you do this full time sometimes, or you do this full time and you miss some hours or some time, maybe a day, you take a day off, you're still going to get a better result than somebody who's doing this part time inconsistently. If you're going to do this part
Right.
time, you need to do it part time consistently because that's really what's going to be the difference between actually getting anywhere and pushing the needle forward and just running around on a hamster wheel getting nothing.
Right.
And I also want to ask, I
To
believe, who was it that
okay.
that said? Oh, it was Matt on his live stream that he was talking about the importance of actually role playing the conversations on the phone. And I do want to see in the community if there is an interest in getting people together to actually host role playing sessions where you can go back and forth and actually train your ability to speak to people, handle objections, pre-qualify, and then ultimately present your offer and get somebody under contract.
I do role playing in the community. So if you guys want to join the community where we do this, I mean, I'm not always on Discord. I try to show up to coffees and closers as much as possible
Doesn't even
to show
message
my.
me back anymore.
I know. See, Dan messaged me back about a deal that went under
Dante
escrow like
Dante
probably
texted
like
me a
a week.
week later. He said, "Oh, sorry, just seeing this."
Yeah, guys, I do not Discord at all. Like
You got to get off
it's like
WhatsApp, man. You got to get on Discord. Discord's the place to be.
I mean, I'm a boomer, bro. Like Matt Riley said.
Matt Riley
I
is
bet you
is
Matt Riley was
crushing
probably
it.
this year old when he started learning how to do Discord.
We might
Y'all
have we
there?
might have riled him up. Maybe he's gonna hop up and say something. He might just stand on business.
What's going on?
He's out there. He's down there. He's down there taking calls, petting his dogs, putting his makeup on. He didn't have time for us anymore. The makeup is crazy. No, I honestly like one thing that I tell people all the time is, I was just telling a group of people on, I think it's Friday. I was talking to a few of you, and I said, and when you get started with this business, you have to divide yourself up as if you are all the employees in your business that you would ever want to have. Because it becomes really hard later on to actually scale out what you want those people to be doing if you don't have an idea of what that is. I think what we can do in the very beginning is, we have a tendency just to kind of um, disorganize, kind of get through our day, right? Get through our day disorganized, meaning like you don't want to be that person that like their drawers and their closet is a mess, but they know where everything is. Because the problem is if you send someone else in that closet to go get something, they can't find it because nothing is organized. So you need to be that person that always keeps an organized closet, not because you need to have it organized for you. Sure, you know where everything is. But the purpose of that is not because you want to have an organized closet for you. It's so that you can eventually send whoever you want into that closet and they can easily find whatever they're looking for because you don't always want to be the person who has to go into that closet to go find something, if that makes sense. Like, that's how your business works. You have to be able to divide yourself out through a period of different employees as if you were a different employee inside of your mind. How much time are you spending each day being that different employee, and what do those tasks and specific things look like? And then sort of as you sort of develop that process, then you can easily scale that out to other people. Because let's say that you're your own dispo agent, right? A lot of you are probably your own dispo agent. If you think about that, think about how much time a day that you spend doing dispositions. Okay? Think about it. A lot of you are your own acquisitions agent. Think about how much time a day you spend working and doing acquisitions. Now, what you want to do is you want to think about it from a fact. Scaling works like this. This is exactly how scaling works. You look at that process that you're doing in that acquisition space and time, and you say, okay, hey, now, if I wanted to scale this business out, here's what I do. All I do is I think about if I'm only able right now to spend 2 hours a day doing acquisitions so that I can still get to everything else in my business. Think about all of a sudden if I had 5 hours a day simply just to focus on acquisitions. Think
Mm.
about how many more deals I would have. And then that's how you scale. That's when you know it's time to scale. When you start thinking about those things, that's when how you know it's time to scale. When you start running out of time, when you realize that time is becoming the factor over money, because in the beginning, right, it's money. You need money to run your business, so you better be doing most of the stuff on your own. Okay, so when you kind of get in that position where you're doing everything on your own, eventually you're going to hit a wall where you say, I can't keep making more money because I'm simply just running out of time every single day. When you reach that point, then you go, okay, what am I wasting my time doing the most? For most of you, it's going to be lead management. That's where it's going to start. And that's where you're going to want to scale out first because that's the simplest job to fill.
So one
And
thing that
then
I did,
go ahead. Oh, cut
right?
out. We can't hear you. We
Oh,
lost
can you
you.
hear me now? Hello, hello,
Yeah.
hello.
Yes.
Okay. So one thing that I did after I blew through 30 grand and figured out, to invest back into my business is I bought cold callers. Okay. Now I didn't get trained cold callers. I trained my cold callers. And, because my background is sales, I was literally listening to these guys' calls every single day until they pitched the way that I wanted them to. And I had this one guy, he was actually like, I remember his name was John, Filipino VA. John was an absolute beast to the point that I would listen to his calls and I would learn something from his calls as opposed to me teaching him something, right? And so, and I think there's still some stuff I implement till this day that I learned from him. But after buying those, it did take me 3 months to see results on a deal that came from cold calling. But I didn't hire cold callers before I cold called myself.
Right.
So like what Dan's saying, at first it's money, and then it's true. Like as you start making more money, you get busy. People make fun of me all the time. I'm like, dude, you got to throw it on the calendar, or I will not remember to do it. Right? Like, if we're gonna jump on a call at this time, you got to throw it on the calendar, or I will not remember. And I, even my attorneys, they make fun of me for it. Make sure you throw it on the calendar so Dante doesn't forget. Ha 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 ha. But like, it's true because you literally have to properly plan your day. This is what I was taught. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
Very true. Very
If
true.
you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So, for what Dan's to touch up on what Dan's saying, it's true. You don't have as much time when you get money. So what you start doing is you take some of that money and you delegate that time to free up your space, right? And so, we got a system right now where it's kind of running without me, and I sometimes get like almost not what's the word I'm thinking of where like damn, like do they even need me, like I don't like, or I get bored, like damn, like this is running without me, like what do I do with myself? So then I find other things to get into, right? Or other things to build. So that's my thing. A lot of people just want their free time and to like chill. So I mean, you
We were
got your own
talking
thing,
about
but
that the other day. Yeah. I want to know how many people in here actively write what's in their mind down on paper. Like, how many people in here actually journal
I
about their
do.
goals, about just things they want, about even what's going on in their life? How many people actually materialize the the conscious thoughts that are going through your brain?
Every day.
And how has that affected your life, Dante?
Well, number one, I read Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill,
Mm-hmm.
and that book is what taught me to write everything down. And
Mm.
um, the reason why I even started reading this book is because I was living in a hotel in Dallas. I was like 23 years old. Um, I had this shitty sales job I wasn't very good at. I was making like $300 a week. My hotel room was like $260 a week. So I was having to survive off of like $40 a week after paying my hotel. And I had this mental breakdown. Like, what the fuck am I doing here? Right. Well, another side of me was like, you're chasing an opportunity. So do that. And then I remember my buddy telling me about the Napoleon Hill book. So I read that book. And as I wrote that book, I literally immediately grabbed a notebook, started writing down everything that I wanted, everything that I desired. And ever since then, um, everything that I've written down, I've gotten
Yeah.
everything. So,
Yeah.
for me, it's once you get those, you cost it out, you add more stuff to it. I got to a point where, in the book, it says to write it down somewhere that you can see it all the time. So I don't always look at books. So what I did is I bought some dry erase markers and I write all of my goals down in my mirror in the bathroom. So when I'm brushing my teeth, when I'm washing my face, you know, whatever I'm doing in the mirror in the bathroom, when I'm getting ready in the morning, my goals are right there. And whether you're looking at them or not, there's a thing that this does where it hits you subconsciously. Okay. So you got your conscious and your subconscious. Y'all don't have to believe this. But I do. But subconsciously, you're planting these seeds in the back of your head, and it's naturally putting them into fruition with obviously the power of application. You got to apply yourself.
It's very true. I'm glad to hear that you do that, Dante, and I'm also glad to hear that you've been able to manifest everything that you wanted, having written it down. Because
Yeah.
it's funny you say that because like I was reflecting back. I keep multiple journals like packed full of just my thoughts, what's going on in my life, what I want, my goals, and I revisit them frequently. And I recently
Yeah.
revisited one of the older ones, one of the ones that like I was writing about way back, and it's crazy just to kind of see the type of position that I'm in today in terms of like what I've been able to accomplish in terms of not only income, but like everything, not only REI Rev, but like just relationship, business, everything. Like it's real. Just my ability to be able to be trilingual is crazy. Like I popped up on a live the other day with Josh Chan, and he brought up two guys. One of them was from Brazil, and the other one was speaking Spanish. Don't know where he was from, but I was like on command, bro. I can really do it now, and it's like at one point that was just a dream, to be able to do that. And the fact that it's a reality now is really quite fascinating. I've been writing for a very long time. My goal, my financial goal is $100,000 a month. And I feel now more confident than ever that I'm closer to that goal and that I actually have the
Yeah.
know how to actually do it more than ever. And that just continues to increase day by day. So I'm grateful. I'm beyond grateful for the community and everybody that's in here. The opportunity that
Same.
we're presented every single day is truly a blessing, guys. And I hope that you're all really taking advantage of this. And if you haven't already, please
So I
consider
saw in
inviting
the
somebody.
comments. So John, I saw in the comments somebody talking about not talking about what your plans are because it could ruin it. Right.
Uh huh.
I saw that. And although that is partially true, um, you almost, I don't know, not for me, maybe it's just me, but like sometimes you want that doubt from other people as a fuel to like, maybe it's just me, but sometimes I'm like, oh
I
yeah,
like that you
okay,
brought that
cool.
up. Because here's what I've experienced. I think when you talk about things that you want to do, you create a barrier and you amplify, okay, I'm here, I'm not there. But when you actually record and
Right.
document doing the thing that you say you're going to do or that you aspire to do or that become who you aspire to be, every time that I get on a
Right.
live stream and I'm making calls, there's no one that can tell me that I don't do this business. I cash out, bro. I get deals closed. I've got HUDs. I do this
Right.
shit. This is me now. At one point, it wasn't. I wasn't here. At one point, I was broke. I was living with my mom, hated my life, wasn't
Yeah.
traveling, wasn't trilingual. But now I've actually started. I actually got out. I made friends, spoke different languages, traveled different places. Nobody can tell me that this isn't my life, bro, because it's me. It's who I am. So when you can change that, and that's what I was talking about the other day, is the identity that you have for yourself. Instead of talking about all the things that you're gonna do or want to accomplish or want to achieve, write them
Right.
down, write down your goals, and then document yourself doing it. Don't talk about what you're gonna do, show the world what you're doing. That's the difference that really separates the people that dream and the people that accomplish and achieve is the act of doing the deed. Go out there and actually do something about it. Don't just tell the world what you want to do. Don't just set intentions and be somebody that wants to talk and talk and talk. I hear so many people talk about how this is going to be my year. I'm going to make $1 million wholesaling. Okay, but how many sellers have you talked to today? How many people have told you no on
Right.
the phone? How many contracts have you
Right.
put under contract this month? Those are the important metrics. And you can only get to those metrics by picking up the phone and taking the action and doing the do. That's it.
Doing the do. I like that. Application. I think people think this manifestation things happen just because they thought of it, not because you thought of it and then you put it into action. Right.
Oh man, I want to
So
write about this.
that's that. Into action. So guys, and here's one thing I want to touch on, because there are going to be times you do tell people what you want to do or your dreams or what you're trying to do, and they're going to knock that shit down, right? They're going
Yes.
to
Yes.
almost discourage you, which
Yeah.
that's kind of the reason why you don't want to tell people shit. But even if they do discourage you, let them talk their shit. Let them talk
Man.
their shit, because what's going to happen is they're going to go from you can't do that to how did you do that. And
Yes. Dude,
by then it's like, sorry, bro, I'm busy. Like make an
right.
appointment.
This is
So,
so funny you say that, Dante, because it brought me back. There was one time, this was back in John Johnson's skating days, right? When I was just skateboarding, I was not the guy that I am today, okay? And so I remember, I was skating with this group of friends, and one of them, they had a tech job or something. They said they could fix a printer. Long story short, he couldn't fix the printer. I fixed the printer, right? But it just so happened to be at an accountant's office. Okay, this person handles taxes and that kind of stuff. And so in exchange, she wanted to give me $20. And I honestly thought it was kind of a slap in the face just because, giving somebody $20 is really no money. You know what I'm saying? It's really no money. If you're going to give somebody something, give them $100. That's what I think, at least. But long story short, I negotiated. Instead of getting that $20, I got myself the photos that I needed to go and get a passport. And I told these guys that I was going to travel the world and become bilingual, and I was going to make all this money in real estate. And it was so funny that CPA told me pretty much, well, what's going to happen when that doesn't work? And I said, well, when it doesn't work, I'm going to try again until it works. I'm going to make it work. And she was encouraging me, just go back to community college, go get your degree, because really that's all they know. And it's not like they really hate me or anything. It's not like these people that tell you these things hate you. It's just their brain is wired in a different way. And the people that are in this room, the people that show up, the people that want to run a business, they are not wired the same way as people that are cool and totally fine with going to work for somebody else. They don't think the same. There are employers and there are employees, and you're either on one side of the spectrum or the other. And it's like, you're not going to be able to listen to an employee telling the employer to go get a job. It doesn't work that way. It's not in your DNA. It's not in your brain. Your brain doesn't work that way. So when you are talking to people about your aspirations, about your dreams, about what you want to accomplish, talk to people that are doing what you want to do. Talk to people that are where you want to be, and confide in those people that are like-minded, because you don't go up to you, I mean, you don't go up to the bum on the street and tell him like, "Yeah, man, I'm ready to cash out 10 racks this month." It's not a possibility in that guy's head, bro. He's just trying to struggle to get to the next $100 bill. That's it. That's all they can think about. That's all their brain is focused on. And the thing is, it's so beautiful, is that you can truly attract whatever it is you want into your life if you can visualize it in your mind and you can align yourself with a frequency to be able to receive it. And I know it is a foreign thing for people to hear these different terms, and it sounds way out there, but the reality is there's a reason why the top of the top all say the same thing, because it's a reality. There really are frequencies, right? And it's not a frequency like a radio wave per se, but it's like a focus. What are you focused on, right? Because when you focus on something, you're going to be able to find more of it. You're going to be able to attract more opportunity. When you focus on opportunity, you're going to see opportunity. But when you focus on problems, when you focus on doubt, when you focus on stress, when you focus on why this won't work for you, how do you expect it to work if you're not even rooting for yourself to win? You have to think about what it is you want out of life, and you got to think about, okay, well, if this doesn't go right, what's going to be my response? Because I'm going to make this happen. And at the end of the day, that's why a community like this is so important, to be around people that are all in alignment with the same goals. Everybody in here wants to be successful in one way or another. And that doesn't mean that we all have the same aspirations for ourselves, that we all want to do the same thing. We all want to earn the same amount of money. We all want to work the same amount of hours. But all of us want to achieve something great. And the power and the beauty of being in proximity with these other people in here on a daily basis is that you can remind yourself and realign yourself with your goals. You have an opportunity every single day to say, okay, today's a new day. Maybe the morning didn't go as well as it could have, but hey, I got the rest of the day to make something of myself and to get closer to where it is I want to go. Because the reality is, it doesn't really matter what time you start your day, or what morning ritual you have. As long as you get the work done and you put in the actions that are necessary, you will get the result. That's literally it. There's no secret. Wake up, do this. It's great to get exercise. It's great to do, a good breakfast. That's fantastic. But if you want a result, if you want to gain money, you got to do the activities that are going to get you closer to that next deal, which is talking to people on the phone, generating leads, putting people under contract, finding buyers. That's it.
So
Doesn't
what we
necessarily
like
mean
to
make your
call
bed.
what we like to do is we like to call it money making activities. So in the community, every day, Monday through Friday, all the people that are in the community, they can attest to it. But we do what I like to call morning atmosphere. Okay, morning atmosphere it kind of sets the tone for the day, right? A lot of times you'll hear me talking kind of how we're talking on coffees and closers. We're doing role plays. We're listening to calls. We're looking at deals and just going over deal flow, or just how to structure it. And then after that, we do money making activities. Okay, so if it's not money making activities, don't ask me about it. I don't want to hear about it. Save it for atmosphere, right? Um. So yeah, just like what John said, if you're there's a difference between looking busy and being productive, if I'm saying that right. There's a difference between looking busy and being productive. So, guys, I got to jump off here, but I want to give a shout out to Jake closing his first deal through the community. If you guys are interested in joining the community, reach out to myself or Ed. Um, we're helping people. I can't be on Discord all the time, so if you guys want my time, just pay the subscription. That's it. It's not very much for the amount of time you get with me. But also, like, Jake paid the subscription and now he closed a deal with me, and now the subscription's waived. My goal is not to have you pay me a monthly subscription. It's to have you invest a very small amount in yourself to make some shit happen. And so once you make it happen and close something, we waive your fee. Okay. It's not about charging you. So keep that in mind. I got to jump off here. I love y'all. Good luck to y'all this week. Keep killing it. I'll talk to y'all. Thank you, John. Thank you, Dan. Dan, I'm going to hit you up Later.
Take care, Dante. All
All
right.
right, bye.
Well, I'm excited. I know that today is going to be a great day. I've got stuff that I need to get done. One of the things that I took away from today's call was, what does the process of manifestation actually look like? I think I'm going to take some time throughout the day to just write about that, because I think that a lot of people would benefit in gaining some clarity on what they actually have to do. Not theory, but actual instruction on what they actually need to do to be able to create the life that they want. And, you know, I think it's most important that you actually realize what it is you want, not necessarily what society says is cool. I do want to get a Lamborghini. I do want to have a nice penthouse. I do want to own properties in multiple different places, but I'm not there yet. But I know that I'm going to get there. I know that for a fact. I know that some way, somehow, I'm going to get there. Currently, the vehicle is wholesaling. I believe that that's going to open up more opportunities to actually invest here in the future. But you got to be clear about what it is you actually want, and then you got to be relentless and have the nerve to actually go after it. So I hope that everybody is as excited as I am to get the day started today. I've already got a seller already called me this morning to try to get a property locked up under contract for another novation. So I might be putting 2 properties under contract this week. I got to get on the phone and get one of them taken off the market, because that wholesaler is not under contract with the seller. I am. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't already figured this out, this is the #1 most valuable real estate community in existence. If you haven't already, please consider inviting somebody you think would benefit from being in proximity with us. Send them that link, discord.gg/REI Rev. Guys, make sure to follow us on Instagram as well. I'm going to drop the Instagram in the chat at REI Revolution, in our Discord, REI Rev. Please, please, please send us your call videos. I want to start uploading more reels and that kind of stuff to Instagram. I want to chop up your calls if you guys take videos or do lives of your live seller calls. I recently posted one, and I just kind of want to start highlighting members of the community that are really actively doing this business on that page. I don't want this to just be me per se. Like, I really want the community to get involved, and we're going to be chopping some stuff up and throwing it up there on the reels. We'll see if some stuff pops off and we can get some more people in here to join the revolution. Ladies and gentlemen, have an amazing day today. Know that you are one step closer to where you want to go. And if you don't quit, you cannot lose.